What's going on, good people? How you doing, Miss Harmony?
What up, Skilly Skills? How you?
Hey, I'm blessed and highly favored, my love. Blessed and highly favored.
That's right.
Well,
Looking like it.
thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly. You're looking great yourself.
Thank you, dear.
So, hey, listen, we wanted to jump back on to share a few more interesting questions with you guys. Some a little funny too, might I add. Y'all like these. Harmony, today I just wanted to check on you, sister. How you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, man, I do my very best not to complain. Not that I can't, because I'm lucky and blessed to have some wonderful people in my life that if I need to vent and I need to complain, I can. But I'm of a firm belief that I will, speak to those people I need to speak to, get it out, get it off me, and then get back to it. You know what I'm saying? So I am wonderful. I am, out here grinding, making things happen, out here trying to add value to the world. What about you,
Hey,
fam?
hey. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you on all of that. I'm feeling great. You know, back on my tennis game, so I'm feeling a little motivated, and it clears the mind and shapes other things as well when I'm out there on the tennis court. So yeah,
Hey.
added to everything else I got going on is a beautiful thing. So
Absolutely. And I'm telling your business, but you just came back from vacay, so I know you feeling good.
well, it was a beautiful vacay.
Yeah.
It was interesting. While I was there, had a earthquake and an aftershock, and then got hit with a little bit of the hurricane. But when I tell you, it was all beautiful. Even
Oh my
the
goodness.
things in the natural way that the Most High moved the earth for us while we were there. It was beautiful to me. So I
Beautiful
enjoyed.
thing.
Nobody got hurt with the earthquake.
Good
It
stuff.
did. Yeah, it did a little. Nobody got hurt with the hurricane, so
Very
um,
good.
it was just some heavy rain, heavy wind, and the waves were busting and crashing and making all kind of beautiful noise and
I was
doing
about
what.
to say that's a beautiful sound and one of my
Hey,
favorites.
listen here, it was all beautiful to me. So
All
it was
right
a
now. Well,
great
you
trip.
all good and refreshed. What you got for us today?
So I got an interesting one. Um, and don't let this embarrass you. Just we all grown. We grown folks. Don't let this embarrass you a little bit. But I'm curious to know: have you ever had issues using the bathroom around your significant other in the beginning?
Ah.
Or two?
Number two. Okay. But because those is different. Those is different things.
No, two.
Gotcha. Um, I am just like I'm such a just a real chick. I'm just like, look at here. Anybody that has gotten that close to me and you are considered my significant other, you gonna just know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me tell you, like, I'm not, look, everybody does it. Everybody, you know, Outcast told us, somebody thought they boo boo smelled like roses, and we know that's not the case. So, you take all the precautions you can take. You had the sprays, you flushed the toilet a couple extra times, and, in the beginning. But I'm just not shy. I'm not a shy kind of chick. I'm just real. And we just gonna do what we gotta do. If I gotta make some apologies, cause it was, one of them times when it was like rough, you come out and say, you might want to get 35, 45 minutes before you go in there. I don't know what to tell you. But, but besides that, that's all you gonna get. I'm not really too shy. I'm not shy. We just gonna have to do what we gotta do. You'll be surprised. And people be thinking that it'd be women all the time that be shy, but dudes be feeling a little more embarrassed than we are half the time. What about you, Skills? How you feel in the beginning?
But believe it or not, I am that guy, and it's not.
See?
It's not something that I have control over. It's just I don't think it's a shy thing. Some people in the business and the medical field call it a shy bowel syndrome. Actually,
Okay.
that's the whole thing to where your body doesn't allow you. Because I also deal with that when I travel.
Uh-huh.
So if I'm in any uncomfortable place or my set is off in any little bit, it does throw my body off whack, and I can't really go to the bathroom like I normally would. But just being in a new relationship, new situation, like stuff like that
He's
happens to
trying to
me.
keep it cute.
It ain't even about keeping it cute. It is what it is. But yeah, that guy, it doesn't
See,
work.
I told you y'all existed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah. It is what it is.
good one that I'm interested in hearing some of the comments and some of the see if we can get a scale on that one and see how out of how many men and how many women have that issue.
Yeah, because I know some girls, they not doing it. I don't care. They'll have stomach pains at the ER before they go to the bathroom in front of somebody that is not, and maybe even their husband. They not doing it. They not about to do it. They was taught something about, I don't know what they was taught, but I wasn't taught that lesson. But they are adamant. They ain't doing it. They gonna croak and die first before they go to the bathroom in front of their significant other.
That's far fetched because I had a cousin just recently told me the same thing that she can't, overdo it. And she called me asking me like, what could she do? I'm like, listen, I mean, I deal with the same thing, so I understand. I get it.
Ooh, I hate it. I hate it for both of y'all. I'm sorry, boo. Look here. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You know, I'm gonna wash my hands because I please. I'm gonna wash my hands, but we go and if it's serious business, if you got to hop in the shower, then go on and hop in the shower. I don't know what to tell you, but I do have the same thing that you mentioned about travel though. My body be like, no, I don't know what's happening. Mm-mm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So interesting one, but yet light and fun. I like it.
absolutely. So speaking of just, dealing with relationships and significant others, have you ever been in a relationship and you had a partner that was unable or unwilling to communicate their feelings? And if you had that experience, like how did you deal with that?
Um, yes, I've had both. I've been on both sides of that for sure. But it's challenging navigating a relationship where someone doesn't know how to communicate their feelings effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes some things you can kind of pick up on and understand and see where they are just by understanding them and where they came from and how they were raised. You
Right.
know, some aspects, knowing some of those things or seeing some of that family history. And a lot of times those cycles continue. Those cycles repeat themselves and they learn how to communicate their feelings through how they were brought up. Um, so yes, I've been on both sides of that. But the difficult part about being in a relationship with someone who doesn't know how, um, it's almost trying to read a mind or trying to figure out and navigate what it is that they're feeling in that moment. And if you get it wrong, it's almost an insult.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
right.
So to how they receive that. So it's just very, very important when you're in a relationship to be able to communicate your feelings because no one is a reader, male or female. Like it's just not possible.
That's right.
Um, Once you learn each other, you can learn things about each other, learn likes and dislikes, and some things some things that are triggers, or some things that are, you can learn some of those things so you know what to stay away from.
Right.
But when I tell you, when you're with an emotionally intelligent enough person that knows himself and knows how to communicate their feelings,
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful. So,
Absolutely. That's as for me, communication has always, even when I was younger, so this is not, necessarily one of those things that changed for me as I got seasoned. It
mhm.
just got even more important. But communication has always been way, way high at the top of my list and, a requirement in order to be a partner of mine. you have to be an effective communicator. I'm an effective communicator and I require an effective communicator as a partner. It is absolutely not going to work any other way. So I've never had a long-term relationship with somebody who was not an effective communicator, because you wouldn't have never made it to be my partner if you weren't. So of course there are variations to that as you grow and mature and get seasoned. It's
Mhm.
even more important to me now. And I feel like I think I was a little more lenient with it though when I was younger, because you understand when you're younger, you know, you give people a little more grace about, their communication. Because some people, like you said, are unlearning things that from their childhood, or haven't yet dealt with things from their childhood and are in the process of dealing with things from their childhood. So you may give people a little more grace when you're younger. But, at this big age and at this time in our lives, a lot of people, going to therapy and things of that sort are less frowned upon in our community now. So you have so many more outlets and so many more things that you can do to help yourself become a better communicator if that's what you want to do. So it is absolutely a non-negotiable for me, out in this dating world. It's actually one of the things that has been the most interesting. I've found so many people who are not effective communicators. And it's like, even if they're cool or even if they're attractive, it's a no-go, because, you have to be able to communicate. And it's not only, you got to be able to communicate when things are good and also when things are uncomfortable. And you really don't know a person until you've seen both, because it's way easier for somebody to communicate effectively when all is well in the world. But when they in their feelings, when they, are having a bad day, when somebody else did something to them, or when you did something to them, you got to know how communication works during those spaces as well, or you don't know the person for real. So
Absolutely.
that's how I feel about it. What about
Hey,
you?
I completely agree with that 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so then the follow-up question that I have to that then, since we're on communication,
Mm-hmm.
what is the best way? Because you know that men and women naturally communicate differently. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's not, it's proven. Like it's not something that I'm saying just because I'm a man, and I'm not saying women. It's actually proven that
Right.
we communicate differently.
Mm-hmm.
So is the best way for men to communicate to women?
Um, of course that is such a,
Like, just if you can sum that up just on all levels.
yeah, like, the first thing I think that men should understand is that we ain't all the same. So what and how you communicate it to one does not necessarily mean that that's the exact same, process, or um, that's going to work for somebody else. We are totally different. And one of the most important aspects of communication, in my opinion, is listening. And so I feel like if people can start there by listening, most
Mhm.
people will tell you what they need, or they will tell you, how they like to be communicated to, if you're willing to listen. Some people are listening to respond, so they're not really hearing what the person is saying. So
Mhm.
I can just speak for myself. One of the best ways to communicate for me, I think timing is very important. Like, you should make a conscious effort to communicate at the best time possible. And I don't mean time of day, I mean like read the room. you know, I think it's important to, for me, if I'm in a relationship, I
Mhm.
always want to physically be touching my partner. So I'll physically be touching them, like holding their hand or touching them some kind of way. I feel like that level sets the energy, and I always start the conversation off with something like, okay, let's talk about this from a place of love and understanding, to set the mood and set the tone for whatever it is we're about to say, especially if it's something uncomfortable. And so, and just making sure that you're mindful of your tone, mindful of, raising your voices and things of that nature. I'm not a big like yeller. So I know some people like to, uh, use the excuse or justify why they raise their voices because they're passionate. I decline that as a reason, as a tool. You can be passionate and still not be yelling at people. So I think it's just, you have to know and or learn your partner and what works for them, and then communicate in a way that they best receive information versus how you prefer to give information.
Gotcha.
Yep. What about you?
Some of that I agree with quite a bit of it. One of the things that I think will be, and you talked about timing a little bit. That
Mm-hmm.
that is also important for men, especially when feelings and things are already high. And then I know some women like, oh, I'm gonna be heard, and I'm gonna be heard now, and I'm gonna and you're not gonna keep me from speaking right now, and and then you nagging and just snapping at somebody in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
that you might want to step back a little bit and just, like you said, just grab their hand or whatever and say, okay, let's talk about this later, let's talk about this tomorrow, or let's talk about this when we get home, or whatever the case may be, and just let
Mm-hmm.
it be on, like, the head. The conversation isn't dead, we gonna have the conversation, but I get and I acknowledge that right now is not the right time to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think if women can withhold that restraint sometimes and just say, "Hey, let me hold my peace for right now," in this,
Mm-hmm.
even if I got to take a note or jot it down in my phone or whatever the case may be, what I wanted to discuss and what I wanted to talk about it later. I think that is very, very important when it comes to effective communication. And like you said, that seasoned age, it should be for anybody, but at this seasoned age, I agree with you. Like, listen, we not gonna argue, we not gonna fight, we not none of that. Like, cause I'm not doing that, and you could never compete with me. You know what I mean? So don't ever think that you could. Um, Once those little things are known, I think that, communication between partners are definitely a lot easier.
For sure.
Um, But I will say this though, one of the things that you did say as far as reading the room,
Mm-hmm.
that is something that should be communicated. That, like, you gotta, because you can't expect somebody to see the room the way you do.
Right.
I mean, you expect them to say like, "Oh, this wasn't a good time. Oh, my bad. I was thinking about basketball and I just came to the conversation and I didn't read the room." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so even that little bit has to be communicated, because that jumps back into what I was talking about earlier. It's like, we can't read minds.
That's right.
You, and like, you cannot expect for the room to look the same for us, because it doesn't.
That's right.
Just like the conversation doesn't look the same for us, that the
Mm-hmm.
the room doesn't either. Um, so that should be expected on both sides. You know what I mean, of that.
Agree.
But I think one of the main ways for and this is just a little. The fellas might get mad at me for this, but ladies, I would just say that whenever you're in a heated or anything that you want to get across to your man, the best way to communicate to a man is to tap into your femininity and lay your head in his lap and say, "Baby, we just need to talk for a minute." Because when you tap in that, no man can resist that. You
That's right.
your femininity. So brothers, don't get too mad at me for giving them that cheat
Tell their
code.
secrets.
But that little bit of that tool right there, if you use that, but you barking and you yelling and you popping off and all of that, like, that ain't gonna get you nowhere, man.
Okay.
Yeah, gonna get you
You
nowhere.
gonna get back what you given.
And not only that, it's still not going. It's not going to get you there. Like, whatever it is you were trying to get to, it's not. It's not.
Use your
So
femininity, ladies. You heard it straight from the man's mouth. Use what you got to get what you need.
so you got to soften yourself a little bit, and be vulnerable in those moments when you truly want to effectively communicate to your man. If you can do that, I get it that you're gonna be upset and you frustrated, you mad. He made you so mad about something. But in that moment, if you can find that and soften yourself and just lay on him, just lay your head on him, let him feel you.
It's over. You're giving up.
It don't
Waving
matter
the
what.
white
It don't
flag.
matter. It don't matter what was going on. You won.
You got it. You
You
got
got it.
it.
And
I
you
think
got
it's really good too, as a something to think about. I think couples should, kind of make rules for engagement when everybody's in a good mood. There is no conversation, there is no discussion. I'm talking about beforehand,
mm,
so that these rules are, oh, even though some people, can't adhere to things in the moment, but at least if you have a process in place, it's always
mm,
something you can look to or strive to. Okay, now we said we was going to do this. You got the first two, but you still got to work on the last one. But at least if you have something in place ahead of time, I think it's a good practice to do that, ahead of time.
I agree with that because then you can at least recognize where
Hmm.
bounds.
Right.
And like you know where you was on the court when you stepped out. You know
Exactly.
we already had that discussion and that's already something that like yeah, I agree with that. That's
Yeah.
an awesome tool. I like that.
Cool, cool.
Uh, well, I know we normally try one called when the street lights come on,
Uh-huh.
or one of our little segments that we throw in there. But I got one for you today.
Okay. What you got?
And it can go it can go quite a few different ways. Since we were on the relationship tip, I think I'll probably keep mine on that. Um, but one of the main things that I wanted to put out there is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Okay. All right.
And this is separate from the relationship part. But one of my biggest pet peeves is the way that they portray and the way that they tell news stories.
Mm.
And when it comes to reporting anything that's going on with someone black.
Facts.
Um, it doesn't matter whether, it's someone that got murdered, someone that got arrested, someone that, whatever it looks like, it's always so different. And I
Absolutely.
just I'm disgusted with it happening every single day right in our face, and
Mm.
no one acknowledges it. No one says anything about it. I'm gonna use a news story as an example,
Mm-hmm.
and I may not have the numbers 100% correct, but I know that
Pretty
I
close.
may be off by 1%. So there was a case, or there was two separate cases, to where there was a criminal ring that was shoplifting
Mm.
from Home Depots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the rings was six men, and the other ring was three men. The ring that had six men in it, they got away with more than $2 million from Home Depot.
Mm.
Over $2 million
Mm.
from Home. Um, and then the ring with three men,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which were black. The three men group was black, and the other was not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they got away with $50,000
Mm.
of theft from Home Depot.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I'm not saying that any wrong outdoes another.
That's
I'm
right.
just looking for things to be reported. I'm telling you what my pet peeve is.
Mm-hmm.
Things reported fairly. Now, the three men not only are behind bars right now, but their faces and their images are forever and in every story plastered all over the news.
Mm.
In the ring that they got away with 2 million from Home Depot, only one of their images got shown,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
and some of the others still have not been arrested, but they know who all of them are.
Isn't that so convenient?
Don't you find that interesting? But that's just such a. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just it's such a big difference to me.
It
I
is.
not one news channel. It's all of them. It's all
Mm-hmm.
care who it is, Fox, whoever it is. They all
Mm-hmm.
stories the same way.
Absolutely.
All show prejudice when it comes to how things are shown.
That is very
I'm
true.
on to, but prove me wrong is all.
Okay, that I have definitely seen and witnessed myself that very thing, and it is very frustrating. And all you can do is shake your head, and you know, we got to figure out what we can do besides complain about it. Whether we got to write to people or boycott people, all the things that we attempt to do to make a difference behind something. But I absolutely see evidence of that on a regular basis. I was just watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. There's been a
Mhm.
lot of them out because they just recently had a 20th anniversary of the hurricane. So there was a lot of them on different channels. But I remember specifically thinking exactly that, your pet peeve, because during the time when they were reporting about all the looting that was taking place after the hurricane, they reported, the black people that were looting. It was, oh, it was so horrible and terrible. They're stealing, they're violent, they're this, that, and the other. And the non-black people who were doing the exact same thing in the exact same stores, they were,
Right.
hungry, and they were trying to survive, and they were feeding their families and doing what was necessary to get through such a horrible ordeal. And I was at the TV like, what? What? So I absolutely agree and see exactly, what you're referring to. It's terrible. It happens way too often.
So let me bring up one more quick point.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks that we've come so far and we get
Mm-hmm.
so far and we've done so many things. The incident that you just spoke of happened
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago.
Right.
20 years ago that happened. The
Mm-hmm.
situation we're talking about just happened last week. So where have we gotten exactly?
Same shit, different day. Okay.
like
Shame.
like I just don't get it. But we become so numb and blind to things that I think people just stop talking about it and they allow it to happen. It,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like um, being victimized right on national television in front of the world, and you can't
Right.
do nothing.
Regularly, all the time, every
Like,
night
like
at 10 and
violated.
11.
I'm violated every day,
Yeah.
and I can't say nothing to do nothing about it. Like that's disgusting, man. Come on, we got to do better, people. Like we got to do better at what we're supporting, what we're putting our energy into, who we're watching. Because don't believe it that you watching it, they get their ratings, whether you like
Mhm.
it or not. They get their ratings.
That's right.
So we got to learn how not to support, like you said, who to write to, who to protest to, who to make them understand so we are heard.
Mm-hmm.
I know at this seasoned age that I am, I don't give a damn no more. So I'm going to speak it. I speak it right here, right
That's
now
right.
about it. You talk about me if you want to. You come for me if you want to. But like I said, prove me wrong. Show me something different.
That's right.
Show me the difference in the way that the news is reported.
That's
Then
fair.
conversation. Then I'll man up and apologize. But as of right now, I'm speaking from what I see.
That's right.
I'm not delusional. Who are
No.
act like they don't see it, that is delusion.
Fact. Fact for sure.
Right.
Well, going back to these pet peeves for me,
Mhm.
on a lighter note, the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't know why, when this became such a problem for me, but it's kind of, I guess it can be considered relationship, or maybe just if whoever you live with, it could be your family. It don't have to be a significant other or a partner. But for me, a pet peeve is, um, when I get out of the shower, if somebody else has showered before me and that bath mat is soaking wet, Lord Jesus, I am so irritated. Like, you couldn't have wiped your feet off before you stepped on that mat. It is the worst feeling to me to get out of the shower, because I was kind enough to dry my foot off before I put it on the mat when I'm getting out of the shower. So I'm stepping on a soggy, cold, damp, wet. Oh, I hate it. I don't even know when it became such a big issue. It probably was only one person in the world that did it, but I'm telling you, I cannot stand it. It bothers me so bad. I just don't want it to happen. And I don't advise it. I hope nobody has ever felt it before. But if you have, you probably can understand what I'm saying. You know,
Believe it or not, I do understand completely and wholeheartedly what you, because mine on that level is similar. I'm okay with I get what you're saying. Trust me, with the bath mat, that bothers me because I haven't put my socks on yet. But if I put my socks on and you didn't took baby steps across the floor and I stepped and got my socks soggy, oh yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem for me. So I get it.
okay.
Ain't
I
way
don't
about
know.
that you do with the mat because I got a soggy sock. Now I got to change my socks and like it's all thing.
It's about to be a problem.
Right. So I get it completely. I like it. I like it. Like,
So, you got any more pet peeves to share tonight, Skills?
no, that's my big one. I mean, we just got to do better. Like with the way the news is reported and the way we watch it and the way we just got to do better, man. We have to.
Absolutely.
This disgusting to me to how a little black girl can come up missing and nobody knows her name.
That's right.
But when a little white girl, and I'm not saying that, trust me, that any life is over another, but what I am saying is the way that it is reported is completely unfair.
Correct.
Because a little
And
white girl,
different.
and it'll be, oh my God, America's sweetheart, America's this, America's that. I've never heard
Mm.
them refer to a little black girl as America's sweetheart.
Okay. Fact. Again.
Like I said, if you upset the way I'm speaking on it, show me different.
That's right.
Send me something different. Let me see a daily basis to where y'all all know the names of the little black girls that are missing, like you do the names of the little white girls. Because I
That's right.
guarantee you can name all of them right now to this day that are.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But name me a little Keisha that you know is missing. If you're
That's right. That's
come on,
fair. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I think we've had some great conversation tonight. So if this episode hits home, we want you to tag a grown friend and share the love. Don't forget to follow Seasoned AzF for bold, unfiltered conversations about life after 45. And we will see you next time and stay seasoned.
peace.